Have you ever worked with someone who had carpal tunnel syndrome? You know, I have. I've worked with a few people as a massage therapist and personal trainer over the years. There's some staggering statistics on the number of people that have been diagnosed with carpal tunnel syndrome and have a surgical intervention. And you know, they quote unquote get better after the surgery, but many times the carpal tunnel syndrome is just the symptom of the problem or cause, and everyone's focused right down here in the carpal tunnel in the wrist and the median nerve entrapment and strengthening and stretching the muscles around the forearm, but they don't pay attention to what caused the problem at first. So let's just spend a few moments talking about carpal tunnel syndrome, and from a personal trainer standpoint or a corrective exercise specialist standpoint, what is it that we can do and what we should be paying attention to if we have anyone that is displaying some signs and some symptoms of carpal tunnel syndrome, or perhaps has been diagnosed with it. Many times people spend their day slouched over the computer like this, just like I'm doing right now. Our cervical spine is misaligned, our shoulders are rounded, our thoracic spine is stuck into forward flexion. There's a host of problems that could be causing symptoms of wrist pain down here. Number one just could be some aggravation of the posterior rotator cuff muscles, which can cause trigger points to run down through, all the way down through the fingers, depending on the specific muscle that you have. These trigger points can mirror the exact pain and symptoms that someone might be experiencing that has carpal tunnel syndrome as well, and be cautious of that. Also, the thoracic outlet, just space for the brachial plexus as it comes down and innervates the upper arm, can be closed off. Our thoracic outlet is closed through here. We also have the brachial plexus as it travels here through the scalenes, where the scalenes can get tight with that forward head posture. And through the forward head posture, the brachial plexus can be impinged through the scalenes as well, and that thoracic outlet is closed off. When you have any sort of impingement of the brachial plexus, that can cause signs and symptoms down here. So if someone thinks they have carpal tunnel syndrome or has carpal tunnel syndrome, before you work on this, work on this. Neutral spine. You can't say it enough. It's a simple concept, but most people do not have it. We have to return mobility to the thoracic spine, stability to the scapula, alignment to the cervical spine, strength to the flexors. We have to do soft tissue work to loosen up the overactive muscles during a forward head posture. You might have the suboccipitals, you might have the sternocleidomastoid overactive, you might have certain parts of the scalenes overactive that need to be released. We need to go ahead and address pectoralis minor, some of major, teres major, as well as latissimus dorsi. We need to strengthen the scapular stabilizers. We need to strengthen the deep cervical flexors. One of the best ways to do that is during every resistance training exercise, have the client retract. I'm not talking about flexing or extending the cervical spine. I'm talking about protraction and retraction. They should be able to stay neutral at the cervical spine and then retract. Protract is to go away, retract is to come towards. And once they're in this position, put their tongue to the roof of their mouth. It will have to help to activate the hyoids and some of the deep cervical flexors within the cervical spine. So when we talk about the drawing in maneuver for the abdominals and the quote-unquote core, even though this could be your core as well, putting your tongue to the roof of your mouth will have a similar effect with the hyoids. We're also going to be addressing the deep cervical flexors as well, which are weak in most people that are stuck like this. So core stability around the lumbopelvic hip complex is important, but alignment of the cervical spine, thoracic spine, position of the scapula are foremost. Once you're working on that, then you can worry about this. And some of the basic things that you'll see will just be stretches for the flexors, stretches for the extensors, soft tissue work through pronator teres, which when most people are on their computer like this all day is just all kinds of beat up. It's a bifurcated muscle. There are two heads to it. It's a nerve that runs down and through it that can be impinged as well. So we have to do some soft tissue work to release this area. You can do the standard, forearm curls and wrist extensions. That's fine. That's not horrible. It's not bad. But work on everything else. Release the soft tissue and some basic things that your clients can do on their own. Set their Outlook timer to go off maybe once every 30 minutes. Every time that happens, it's like they should be pulled up by a string. They're up tall, chins in, tongues up. Things that they can do with their hands is just have them abduct as far as they can. Well, it depends how you're holding your hands, but you want to spread your hand out as far as possible. Now, as they go to do this, most people will do this, where their hand is bent and not lined up correctly. That's the problem, is they're stuck on a computer all day. So as you go ahead and you spread the fingers out, you want the hand to be completely straight and in line with the forearm. You're spreading the fingers out as far as possible. You're not doing the live long and prosper. All the way out like this as far as you can. You can hold statically. So from the side, I know I'm trying to get in the camera. It's a straight line just like this. The way that we produce abduction and adduction is a combination of firing of the flexors and extensors within the forearm, but have them hold this statically for 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds. That's something they can do right at their desk. You can have them just do the basic stretches when they're going to give themselves a little bit of overpressure. Pull themselves forward like that to stretch out the flexors. You can process to go ahead and stretch out. One of my favorites with this one, it can be a little morbid how you think about it, but you want to grab your thumb almost like you're going to grab a knife. Like you're going to stab yourself. Come into your chest. Wrap the knuckles around. This is gentle. It's not an aggressive stretch. And then stretch the extensors. So, flexors, again, gentle. Extensors, abductors, stretch abduction and adduction. Again, that's going to address the flexors and extensors. Make sure you start out with your soft tissue work. There should be a strengthening component. And the last little bit, which I'll touch on before I wrap up, I know we're getting up around 6 minutes, is the median nerve. You can do some flossing or a nerve stretch for the median nerve as well. If you're not familiar with how to execute nerve stretches, then I would have a conversation with a licensed professional, or take some courses, or do a little bit more reading so you don't aggravate any nerves. But you want to be gentle with these. It's very easy to aggravate someone's nerves if you have them in a lengthened position. You really snap and pull away hard, and that's not a fun thing. This can be called flossing the median nerve, where we're just going ahead and where the nerve should slide and glide through the soft tissue. Many times it gets stuck and entrapped or impinged, so the nerves are usually talking about entrapment, but we're trying to make sure that it's gliding and moving freely. A few different ways to do this. One is a little bit more of a standard stretch. Let's see if I can lean back. There we go. I'm going to have my hand about shoulder height, point my fingers down towards the ground, and I'm going to bring my head towards that same side. Now from this position, I'm going to stand up, bring my hand in, reach it back behind me, almost like I were looking for a little high five on the backside or giving the waiter a tip, and then I'm going to bring my head away from the side that's stretched. So hold for 2 to 3 seconds, come back up, go to the same side, hold for 2 to 3 seconds, come back up, look, hand off that tip, go away, hold for 2 to 3 seconds, and it's going to just help that nerve free up or loosen up. But release your soft tissue work on your posture and alignment. Make sure you do address the soft tissue through here. Do some dental stretching and gentle strengthening, just the kind of basic protocols that are out there, but make sure you're addressing the nerve as well if you understand how to do that. 2 to 3 second holds, 2 to 3 sets of 10 repetitions for that neural stretch, 2 to 3 times a day. Posture and alignment is where it all comes from. So thanks for watching, and good luck if you have carpal tunnel syndrome or you're working with someone who has it.